So this presentation is basically not to tell you about the entire in and out of NEP, but how is this NEP going to affect commerce and management degree programs is what this presentation is aimed at. But as educators, as I mentioned, we should also have complete knowledge of the bigger picture. So we should know about higher education system in India. We should know about higher education institutions, the regulatory body, the assessment mechanism, because these things are also very important for educators like us, not just our domain knowledge. So what I have done is I've done a brief presentation here. So let me first present to you our existing curriculum structure. We are familiar with this, whether it is autonomous colleges like us or whether it is Bangalore University affiliated colleges or whether it is private universities, they more or less tend to focus on this structure in which we have core papers and languages. So in the first semester, student studies 4 core papers, followed by which he also studies 2 languages. And of course, student has a choice which language he wants to study, but and should study the same subject, what he or she has studied in her 12th. So that's a mandate. So if I have studied Kannada as my first language in 12th, I can't change it in the degree program. So that is what the universities insist, right? Even though there's no hard and fast rule, but that's the guideline given by the university that students can't change whatever they study in PUC, same thing needs to be continued. But in case if there's a paper student, what student has studied that is not there in our state, then obviously the student has the choice to opt for some other language. But this is the structure. You have 4 core papers. Core papers are basically uh, domain knowledge papers. So these are papers related to commerce, or if it's a BBA, these are papers related to business. So these are the core papers. In the second semester, in addition to core papers and languages, student is also introduced to a foundation course. Foundation courses are trying to inculcate some sort of commitment to society and some sort of commitment to the nation, trying to inculcate some sort of civic sense, trying to make student a better citizen. So that's the reason this foundation course were introduced. What happens in next semester, third semester, same structure continues. Students study 4 core papers, 2 languages, and 1 foundation course. And then in the fourth semester, of course, in our autonomous syllabus at St. Joseph's College, what we have done is we have also introduced 2 electives. This is generally referred to as CBCS, but CBCS is a much broader and a comprehensive term, because in CBCS, the kind of choice what you're offering should be very wide, and students should have complete autonomy to choose the subject what they like. We refer to this as open elective. So a commerce student or a management student is given a choice to study any other paper which is not at all related to his domain knowledge, his area of degree. So commerce students study non-commerce subjects. Likewise, business students study non-business subjects from science, from humanities. So they also get some perspective about other streams. So this is what happens in the fourth semester. Fifth semester, again, we have 4 core papers. But here, in addition to core papers, students also get to opt for electives. Sometimes we also refer to this as specialization. So even though specialization is not the most appropriate term, because in specialization, you need to offer more courses, whereas we offer only a limited 2 papers. So students get to choose a specialized area in which they can study more subjects. So in odd semester, they study in fifth semester, they study 2 elective papers on a particular subject. And then in sixth semester also, they study 2 papers. So in fifth semester also, we have 1 foundation course. So overall, in their degree, they are studying 3 foundation courses, 2 open elective papers. And in sixth semester, students, as usual, study their 4 core papers and then 2 elective papers. Now that's the end of the degree program. So in degree program, a student has to roughly earn 137. In our structure, we are offering 137 credits. Now, in addition to credits, students also need to fulfill certain course completion requirement. So whether it is outreach or whether it is a HRD program, Igniters. So these are some of the additional value addition programs what a student has to complete, but even though there are no specific credits to it. but these are course completion requirements as per the college policy. So this is what we are following at the moment. Now, this is about to change in NEP. So what is going to happen in NEP and how the structure is in NEP? Before understanding the structure, there are certain components which you have to get familiar with. So under NEP, all these subjects, the so-called core papers, languages, foundations, CBCS, this is being restructured and these are being renamed. Right. So in NEP, what happens? We have the first component called major discipline core courses. This is the first component. Now, this in short is called discipline core, DSC. Even though the policy document of NEP says that these are major discipline core courses, but in short, they are called discipline core. Now, these are the courses, right? The right term is courses, but generally when we converse, we say subject. So these are the subjects which are related to students' degree. So these are typically your commerce and management courses. This is the core area of what the student is studying the entire degree on. The second component is called major discipline elective courses. Right. So now this discipline elective DSE, it's not DSC, it's DSE. So discipline elective, similarly to what we have at the moment, wherein a student is opting for a elective in the 5th semester, he has to choose which elective he wants to study, and then he studies 2 electives in 5th and 2 electives in 6th. So same thing happens here also. In NEP also, there is major discipline electives, the way we have in our existing system. But when he studies it, that is slightly different. So I'll come back to that later. So this is the second component of the NEP curriculum structure. The third one is called general elective courses. But specifically, we don't use the term general elective courses, but we rather use the word elective or open elective. So these are our CBCS courses in our old system, wherein a commerce student can study science or arts courses. So these are open electives, which is offered by other departments to our students. So this is the third component of the NSE curriculum. Now, the fourth component is something totally new, which was never there in our old structure. These are called vocational courses. Now, what's the difference between a major discipline course and how is this major discipline and how is this vocational different from the major discipline? So are these vocational courses related to subjects? Or these are non-subject related? The answer is vocational courses can be subject related. In fact, it has to be aligned with the degree what the student is studying. For example, I'm doing BCom, so my vocational courses has to be in commerce domain. But the difference here is that these courses, rather than classroom based, it should be more of a practical oriented courses. So rather than spending most of the time in the classroom, the student should gain insights, whether it is in terms of knowledge or skills, which is through on-field experience. Right. So these are called vocational courses. So the emphasis on vocational courses is not to deliver or emphasis more on knowledge, but to give that practical exposure. So it is up to us how we design this. So again, we have to give a lot of thought process here. Or let's say retailing is one of the vocational courses what we are offering. So probably we have to tie up with any of the retailers and probably give 20 hours of classroom training, and the remaining 40 hours the student has to go and learn in a retail store as to how retailing practically works. So that is what constitutes a vocational course. So it has to give students more than knowledge, the skill component. So this is something new which was not there in our old format. Then you have ability enhancement compulsory courses. Now this is the rebranding of the old courses which already existed. So this constitutes mainly languages and also foundation courses. So foundation courses plus languages are combined together and they are being rebranded or renamed as ability enhancement courses. Now NEP has its own explanation as to why languages are required. NEP says languages provides a medium of fresh and free thinking, expression and clarity in thought and speech. And they also say it's a foundation for learning other courses. So students should be fluent in communication. So these are some of the reasons or justification what the NEP gives, that languages do provide fresh and free thinking, right? It provides clarity of thought and it enhances communication skills. So that's the reason they still have languages, and they have languages spread across 4 semesters. And in languages, again, you have 2 languages, first language, and then you have second language. Now, what Karnataka government has done is it has made a special provision which says that first language by default will be Kannada. And second language can be anything. It can be German, French, Urdu, anything. But first language has to be Kannada, which means that you cannot skip Kannada. So whether you're a national student, international student, you have to study Kannada. But of course, the levels will differ. Somebody who has no Kannada background will study foundation basics, what generally we study in our school. The same content is taught to a student who has no idea about Kannada language. So levels are there, but Kannada can't be skipped. And then, of course, foundation courses. As I said, this creates a kind of commitment to self and the nation. So 2 foundation courses are offered over a period of entire degree. So students will study 4 languages throughout their degree and 2 foundation courses throughout their degree. Then you have another component called skill enhancement courses. Now, the name itself suggests that the whole purpose of this component is to imbibe certain skills which are very much necessary for a graduate, for a student. And these skills are not just skills required to get a job, but these skills also include some of the life skills. So both are embedded here. And this is further split into 2 categories: skill-based course, value-based course. So, skill-based course imparts a certain skill, certain competencies, where a value-based course inculcates moral values, ethics, right? So that's the whole purpose of having skill-based and value-based courses. So this is the 6th component what the graduates will study under NEP. Now, the last component is, of course, research and project work. So this is how the entire NEP curriculum will be for a commerce or a management student, for a BBA or a BCom student. So this entire subjects, what we teach is classified into 7 categories. Now the numbers what you see here in blue color, major discipline, 18 plus 5, what it indicates is, in case if it's a 3 years degree, because student has an option in NEP, either he can select a 3 years degree program or a 4 years honors program. So in case if a student opt for a degree program 3 years, then he will study 18 DSC discipline courses. And plus, in case if he goes for a honors, he will study another 5 papers. Major electives, he will study 2 in a degree, and in honors, he will study another 2 extra. But at the moment, if you see our curriculum, students will study in 3 years. In the 5th and 6th semester, they'll study 2 elective papers. That means they'll study 4. But under NEP, they will study electives in the 5th sem, in the 6th sem, and also in the 7th and 8th sem. So here the structure has slightly changed. So if you're in a 3 years degree, they will study only 2 electives, whereas in a 4-year degree, they will study 4 elective papers. Now, as far as the open electives are concerned, in a period of 3 or 4 years, whether the student is opting for 3 or 4, they will study 4 open elective papers. Now, vocational papers, if it's a 3 years degree, they will study 2 vocational papers. If it's a 4 years degree, they will study 4 vocational papers. Ability enhancement courses, languages, first languages, they will study in 4 semesters. That means they'll study 4 papers. Second language, again, they will study in 4 semesters. So that means they are studying 4 papers. Foundation courses, entire degree, they are studying only 2. Skill-based, 4 papers, value-based, 4 papers in the duration of 3 years. Now, research and project work comes only if it is a 4 years degree. So research will come, research methodology will come in the 7th semester, and in the 8th semester, project work will be there. So this is how the future will be. So this is how our degree curriculum for commerce and management will be in the coming years under NEP. Now, this is how the flow happens in the first semester when the student joins, especially all the first year teachers who are teaching, or probably the mentors. This is how you have to probably put it across to your students. So they have 3 core papers, but if you look at our existing syllabus, we have 4. But here in NEP, we have only 3 core papers. That means 12 credits. The number in the brackets indicates number of credits. And then one open elective. So in the first semester itself, a student has to study a course offered by either science or arts, humanities. Then they have two languages. Kannada is mandatory and other they can choose. And one skill-based course. So now what should be offered under skill-based course? NEP gives us an indication that skill-based in the first semester preferably should be something that enhances the computer literacy or digital fluency of a student. So something related to digital fluency, but specific course is not mentioned, but please offer a course that enhances digital efficiency is what the guidelines talks about. So one skill enhancement course, and this is not value based, this is skill based. Second semester, again, 3 core papers will repeat, one open elective will repeat, 2 languages will repeat, but here one foundation course also comes into picture. So as per NEP policy document, the foundation course can be environmental studies. And then you have one value based, right? Remember, value based is all about emotions. It's all about value system, ethics. So NEP policy document has 2 suggestions here. Either go for health and wellness or go for social or emotional learning. But anyways, that can be decided at a later point in time, but they are studying one value based course. And the beauty of NEP is that in case of a student under any circumstances is unable to complete his graduation, he can leave. And in case if he opts to quit, then from college, provided he has cleared all these papers successfully, he will be given a certificate in commerce. If it's a BCom, certificate in commerce. If it's a BBA, then it is a certificate in business. So after 1 year also student can quit. But generally in the present system, the concept is in case if a student leaves in between, of course, there are colleges in Bangalore who create problem to students because they say, okay, you're living in between. It's a loss for educational institutions. So even though you have not studied second and third year, pay second year and third year fee and then leave. Otherwise, will not give TC. So such institutions also exist, not just in Bangalore, across India. Technically speaking, it's a loss to the educational institution, right? But that burden can't be passed on to the student. And that is what NSE has identified, the loophole, the problem. And that is where NEP says, okay, student has all the rights to leave after first year and college should provide, or the university should provide certificate for what he has studied, provided he should clear all these papers. And then third semester, more or less now the same repetition happens. Third semester, again, fourth semester. And again, at the end of fourth semester, student can opt out. But in case if he has completed fourth semester, he wants to quit, he gets a diploma. Diploma either in commerce or diploma either in business. Fifth semester, now new addition to fifth semester are the elective papers, the way what we offer at the moment. So student can choose from the electives or the specialization offered by the department, and they will study one discipline elective. At the moment, we are offering finance, accounting and taxation, insurance and marketing. So they can choose any one from these electives. Sixth semester, number of papers are slightly reduced here. So the highlight of fifth and sixth semester is that not just they study one elective, but they also get to study a vocational course, right? So vocational course, as I mentioned, focuses more on imparting skills rather than too much of theoretical concepts. So probably we need to have good institutional or industry type to ensure that our students are getting a proper vocational training. And here at the end of sixth year, again, student completes 136 credits. He can exit. So he gets a bachelor's degree either in commerce or in management. Now, here the journey does not end. So there is a scope to study further. So student can venture into another year. So seventh semester, 3 core papers, 1 discipline elective, 1 vocational course, and 1 research methodology paper. And in 8th semester, there are only 2 core papers, 1 discipline elective, 1 vocational, and finally research project. And research project has 6 credits. So a lot of weightage is being given to research also. So now he gets an honor degree, 176 credits, right? So in the policy document, what is being shared with us, there is a small error, even though when we sum up the credits, it should come to 178. But what they have done is somewhere in the fifth semester, they have made some goof up. Value based should be 2+2. We have value based and skill based, this one. But they have put it as 1 and 1. So, but nonetheless, this is how the structure will be. So this is how NEP will work. And as per the policy document, after completing honors degree, if a student wants to pursue further, let's say a master's degree, the master's degree will be for a period of 1 year. In case of a student wants to pursue doctoral degree, doctoral program, then the student need not have a post graduation. Immediately after 4 year honors degree, the student can directly go to PhD. So this is what the structure is. So that's it from my side. I hope you have got some basic idea about NEP. Thank you.